One of the things I've learned in Alcoholics Anonymous is that love is going to win everything. And if I am kind and loving to you, no matter what, love and tolerance is our code. This miracle that we're sharing right now, this is my whole life. And I wouldn't have a life if it wasn't because of this. And if somebody needs this, I want the hand of AA always to be there.
I've heard it through the grapevine.
Welcome. It's the AA Grapevine Half Hour Variety Hour, featuring the collected voices of Alcoholics Anonymous. I am Alice, an alcoholic in beautiful Oakland, California.
Alice! Hey, everybody, I'm Sam, an alcoholic in Palm Springs, California.
Hey, Sam. I feel like I haven't seen you in a long time. It's so good to see you.
It's been a minute. It's been like a few minutes.
What is
looking fabulous, but you always do.
Thank you very much. I pay for those compliments, folks.
Alice, what's been going on in your world?
So I want to confess to people that although my sobriety date is May 21st, 1987, which is I am still nutty as fruitcake. So I was recently doing another renovation because apparently I like those, and got onto a 7-foot ladder and then fell off and broke my leg.
Whoa.
It's actually a fracture, but yes, I did that. And the thing about it is when you've been around a long time, you can accept everything that comes with joy and laughter. And one of the great things that came out of my injury is the service of the fellowship. Have you ever been sick or shut in and had AA members show up at your house?
I have indeed. I was hospitalized for a ruptured appendix.
Ooh.
And then had a long recovery from that too.
Yeah.
And I had people showing up in ways that I never could have imagined.
It's mind-blowing. It's soul-shifting. I had members of my new in-person home group. Somebody or somebodies came every day for a couple weeks.
It's not just when it happens, because a lot of times folks will show up immediately, like within the first day or so, but it's weeks later.
Absolutely.
They're still taking care of us.
They're still taking care of us. And even people who couldn't come physically, we were talking a little bit before we started about a mutual friend, my friend Francine in beautiful Palm Springs. And Francine insisted on sending me groceries, watermelon, pineapple, like the kind of love and care when you come all the way into Alcoholics Anonymous and you sit all the way down. You get in this network of people who show up in your life in ways. It's just amazing.
It's absolutely incredible. My first experience of that wasn't because of an accessibility situation, but Greg and I were moving from one house into another.
Move. Yes.
And we were, a couple, 3 years sober, something like that. I don't recall exactly, but it was one of those things that I have never, ever even heard of this. Too many people showed up to help us move.
Yep. Even if I don't know what's going on and I don't like it, it's all perfect, right? Right after my injury and right after that experience of being disabled and unable to get out, the election at my home group, the annual election came up and the accessibility chair is open. And I'm seriously considering taking the accessibility chair. What does that person do? They understand who in the home group needs a visit. They go to the accessibility meeting in the area and make sure that the love and the power of Alcoholics Anonymous is available to everybody.
It helping make sure that AA is accessible, particularly in those situations where it wouldn't be.
That's right.
Yeah.
If you are yourself in need of 12-step calls at home or of the love of Alcoholics Anonymous, not only can you receive that, but I want you to consider looking around in your area to see how can you participate as a servant to make sure that people are in need have access.
Absolutely. It's a wonderful thing to do. Hey, I got to share that in my home group more than once now, we've had a phone sitting in a chair during a meeting with FaceTime going on for a member who couldn't be there in person. I love that kind of stuff.
The thing I've come to understand is what I really suffer from is my point of view. And when I changed my point of view, things that I used to think were the worst thing ever like, oh my God, I have to go to AA, turn out to be the best thing that ever happened to me. Falling off the ladder and fracturing my leg actually created a depth of relationship with people in my home group. And I'm so grateful.
Well, Alice, today, I got to tell you, we got a cool guest. We've got Angela B. in Lakewood, California. And afterwards, we'll answer a question sent to the Ask It basket.
But first, my friends, the news. The most important news of the day is that there is an opening on the AA Grapevine, Inc. for a non-trustee director.
Non-trustee directors are AA members selected for their business or professional experience that relates to the activity of the corporation.
A non-trustee director may serve up to 4 successive one-year terms.
But that's not guaranteed. You don't get that guaranteed, right?
No.
You got to behave yourself. For more details on how to apply, visit aagrapevine.org or in the Grapevine app under Important Updates or the News tab in the AA Meeting Guide app.
And if this calls out to you, do not dilly-dally. The deadline is November 12th, 2025.
Alice, you just took me back to middle school. I had an English teacher that for punishment would make you conjugate dilly-dally.
Is it conjugable?
I dilly-dally, you dilly-dally. He, it, she dilly-dallies. We dilly-dally, you dilly-dally, they dilly-dally.
Dilly-dallied. Dilly-dallied in my life.
There you go. I am dilly-dallying. What are the Grapevine's most popular books? Emotional Sobriety 1 and 2. Both are filled with experiences by sober AA members, many with long-term sobriety, about the positive transformations we can achieve by practicing the principles of the program in all aspects of our lives. The stories show how the rewards are serenity, emotional balance, and an increased joy for living. Visit aagrapevine.org/books.
Hi, you guys. My name is Angela. I'm an alcoholic. I live in Lakewood, California, which, if you don't know where that is, it's kind of small. It's near Long Beach. And I do have a sponsor. Her name is Marie. I have a home group. It is the Willing to Grow Tuesday night book study. So we are in the book, and I'm the Grapevine rep for that group now.
Woohoo! Yay! Release some chaos monkeys for us, Don. Oh, that is awesome. Angela, I am so glad to get to chat with you. I mean, I've already gotten to chat with you on the phone, and we've been chatting a little bit now before this got started. And like, we are going to go on a roller coaster ride today, I think. And it's just going to be like all up. And then we're just going to be sailing around and around and around.
And one of the things that I think is beautiful is the gift that just keeps giving, which is international. And Angela, we got an opportunity to meet you in Vancouver, British Columbia, in the flesh at International. And we're so glad to have you as a guest today.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I sought you guys out actually because I've always been a fan of the Grapevine, particularly the magazine in the 90s before all of this came about. I don't know if anybody else has been to an International who's listening, but there's so much to do, right? Like there's just a million things to choose from. And I was like, no, I want to do the Grapevine. I'm going to get there somehow. And maybe I'll even meet the podcasters. Who knows? And there you were.
It was a life-changing experience, I think, for all of us, getting to meet the listeners and getting to meet each other. Sam and I had not met in person.
So as the Grapevine rep, I do talk about this quite a bit.
Well, I'm so appreciative of that. And you know what's so really cool about it is that there is almost 4 years of episodes that people can listen to get.
You can binge listen us.
You so can.
And for anybody that's listening, I mean, what you've just said, Angela, is just because you know we're here doesn't mean that all the people in your network know that we're here.
Yeah.
Spread the word.
We're here to get to know you.
Yes.
What was going on in your world that brought you to Alcoholics Anonymous?
So I want you to know that when I first came into Alcoholics Anonymous, I came in through Cocaine Anonymous,
Okay.
and they used the big book of Alcoholics
They
Anonymous.
do.
Mhm.
Mhm. They've got their own literature now, but back then in 1988, 89, they just used the big book. Anyway, so I thought I had a drug problem, but I didn't know I was an alcoholic. And I lived in Hawaii for a little while. So I had started a new career in Hawaii when I was living there. I mean, what does a woman that has blonde hair, blue eyes, likes to hang out on the beach and has a big rack, what would a natural progression, what would that kind of position look like and likes to entertain? I mean, just the natural
Hmm.
progression of this. What would you just consider? Yes, of course, I became a stripper. Of course I did. And and it was a great job for someone like me, I can tell you. Because I still continued to stay on the beach. I still continued to do those things even after I got sober. But I hit a really low bottom and I compromised myself as a woman in a way that I had said I would never do.
Okay.
I don't know about other alcoholics, but that line kept moving for me,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
right? It moved and it moved again. And then when I got back to the mainland, I ended up in this place in downtown LA called MacArthur Park. And it's a pretty gnarly place.
Ooh.
So I was basically smoking crack and drinking vast amounts of alcohol. And I was up for several days. And then I got another job at another burlesque establishment. And it was just a horrible situation for me, only because I couldn't stay sober even if I tried at that point.
Mhm.
I couldn't stop and I didn't understand why. And I thought, well, if I could just put down the cocaine, I'd be okay.
Right.
And then I realized that I would get to work and I would crack open a beer. And I didn't even really drink beer that much, but I couldn't stop drinking. And there was a woman there. So her name was Darlene, and she had 6 months sober. She was a sober stripper.
Hmm.
And she
6 months is an eternity when you can
right?
eat one day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And she invited me to go to an AA meeting with her because she said, "Girl, you look horrible." And that was in March in 1989, and that was my first sobriety date, March 28th.
Yeah. I,
And
Darlene is still with us.
I don't know, but I can tell you that after I got sober, another girl named Michelle, and so I'm embarrassed to tell you what my stage name was at that time, but she said, "Blondie." Blondie, I can't believe you've been sober for 30 days. And I was still working at this same job, right? And I said, yeah, if you want to go to a meeting with me. Well, Michelle ended up getting sober when I had 90 days. And the last time I talked to her, she had 15 years.
Oh,
Wow.
that's awesome.
And for anybody that's listening that thinks, well, I can't identify with that, I want to offer this. I heard you say, I was in a job and it was a terrible situation for me. And no matter what line of work you're in, all of us have been in jobs that are not good fits, where we're
Mhm.
miserable. We don't want to go there. We don't like the people. We're being harassed. The pay is terrible. They forget to send the pay, all of it. And that's the part I want people to identify with. I was in a situation that was not a good situation, and I was still able to have someone in a similar situation help me get to AA. I was able to stay sober. I was able to help somebody else get sober. Like, that's the truth for us. We don't get here when our life is perfect. Even if we've got the great job and the great house and the great relationship, we're still a train wreck.
Yeah.
And that misery isn't the barrier to finding your way here.
Well, and I just want to add that I didn't quit that job for many, many years.
Yeah.
I was a sober stripper for 8 years,
Yeah.
and I was active in Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yep.
And, I got judged in AA though early on. The women in particular weren't real fond of me. They thought, whatever they thought, but I stayed sober regardless.
What I want to ask though is, particularly in those years when you were in a situation that some people would call precarious of just working in a bar,
Mhm.
what did you do to not only protect but enhance, grow
Yeah.
your recovery?
For some reason, the first time I got sober, because this sobriety date I didn't get to keep, but the first time I got sober, the desire to drink and use was lifted from me, and I had a pink cloud for a very long time, and I was very grateful for that. And then also during my off times, I would listen to these tapes that I gathered,
Mhm.
and one of those tapes was Francine. She's the grapevine chair for our area now, but I loved her story. She's one of my most favorite female speakers of all time. And without telling her story, I really related to what she said. And she talked about self-esteem comes from doing esteemable acts.
Absolutely.
And I didn't really know what that meant then because I didn't understand so many things about myself. Well, I was starting to hit some kind of an emotional bottom in recovery and wanted some change. So after I heard her tapes, I changed careers. I went back to college and became even more active in Alcoholics Anonymous. But I did a lot of things differently after that time. So if I put everything together, it got better. And then, of course, it got worse again because that's life. I don't care if you're sober and things are, great in your life. There's still things that happen that are going to make me feel like I need to change the way that I feel.
Mm.
And all of these things come into play, right? Food,
Yeah.
relationships,
Shopping.
shopping. Thank you. The list can be really endless.
It can.
For me, you could have surfing and lifeguards, but I'm just saying.
In Bill's story, I think it's page 13, it may be page 14. He talks about how we have to stay on this path because there are certain trials and low spots. And that's no matter what, sober or not, life is going to happen. Disappointment, fear, heartbreak. The thing that's different for us, and I love you talking about it, Angela, is I've got tools.
Mhm,
I've
mhm.
got meetings, I've got speaker tapes, I've got the grapevine, I've got a sponsor, I've got tools.
All kinds of things. And it's that super important thing that as long as I don't drink or use drugs, I've got a reasonable chance of
Yeah.
not screwing this thing up. I still may have some things to clean up along the way or
Mhm.
after the fact,
Yeah.
but I will not have torn my world down around me. But if I get drunk, I
Yeah.
guarantee you that my world is going to come crashing.
Well, I can tell you that there were some things missing from my toolbox, even though things sounded great. And I ended up having a big AA wedding and graduating from college and all of those things. But one of the things that happened was I was unable to hold a baby. Got to that age and I found someone and, we got married and I was unable to have a baby. So they sent me for surgeries and they gave me what was then considered non-addictive OxyContin.
Ooh.
Mm.
One of the things that I was missing from my toolbox was gratitude. I didn't
Mm.
Mm.
really understand what that meant and this time I absolutely do, but I kept looking at everybody else's outsides and comparing my insides. Still, even though things looked relatively great, but
Yeah.
they weren't. I was always like, something's missing, something's wrong.
Well, Angela, so what does gratitude look like to you today? How does that show up? What did you learn?
Well, it was a long process, but actually, Francine ended up being my sponsor for a short time.
How beautiful.
Years later, 20 years later, I finally got to meet up with her, and she scares me. So I did anything she asked.
Yeah.
And she made me write a gratitude list. And I wrote that gratitude list to her every day for 2.5 years. The practice of that has folded over into me being able to look around and see in the world today what I can be grateful for easily without pushing through some kind of a barrier, without trying to struggle through an emotional block. I just look and it just comes to me now.
A
And
consciousness.
it's a deep, profound feeling that I had practiced for a long time, and now it's a gift, and I'm able to live in that gift. Is it going to happen every single time? No, it's not like magic. It's not like taking a drink that, immediately changes our outlook on life, right? Or not immediately, but after a few, or a pill or whatever.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is something that I slip into with meditation, which is another tool that I picked up. I think that we grow up a little bit too. And if we get to stay in Alcoholics Anonymous and practice these principles in all of our affairs, that it will eventually catch up to us. I mean, it doesn't just
Yeah.
come. We have to do some work. It took me doing work for that feeling to come to me almost seamlessly.
So, what does meditation look like for you? I love hearing how other people practice meditation.
Well, it's me saying a few of the AA prayers. Of course, the Serenity Prayer, third and seventh step. Sometimes I'll say little send I love yous out and I hope your day goes well. Loving hugs to folks that might be having illness. Maybe people who I am struggling with and have a resentment with. Maybe the situation in the world and how it looks today. I try to send out loving kindness to those people. Do I have a actual practice where I sit and No, I don't. I'm not one of those people. My profession is that I'm a professional dog trainer now. And when I started doing this work to get to that place, I was doing a lot of dog walking and I did meditation when I was walking dogs. It's crazy. Just moving forward,
Yeah. Oh my
dogs
gosh. And well,
backward.
I mean, with dogs, if you are not in a peaceful state working with a dog, they know it, right?
No, it's true.
You've got to be in charge of your emotions when you're training these dogs, right?
Calm and assertive.
That probably works on sponsees too, right?
It does.
Given your journey and how long you've been here, what is the one piece of advice you give to women, particularly, but anybody, women that are coming in that maybe are thinking, I don't know that I can do this?
I don't think I'm any kind of an expert. I just parrot everything that everyone else told me to do. Don't leave before the miracle happens is the biggest one.
One of the things that I love about Alcoholics Anonymous is what we're doing right now. We're storytellers.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I know that my story isn't for everyone. I hope that people can identify with the feelings, but I know that there's so many differences. I've gone down roads these days because I'm desperate to continue growing in my recovery. I'm
Yeah.
willing to do the work. And I can tell you that getting loaded at 18 years of sobriety it changed the way that I do my recovery today. And I think that you were asking me about gratitude.
Mhm.
That's one of the things that changed for me. My sobriety became the most important thing in my life,
Yeah.
bar none, bar nothing else.
That's right.
Right. And I don't know if I had gratitude for that back in the day. I may have taken it for granted.
Mm.
So now I have 13 years and some change again, which is a miracle.
The miracle.
Yeah.
Right. And so
Yeah.
I've thrown myself into all kinds of things that I didn't do before. Example, general service that we were talking about earlier.
Mhm.
It changed the way that I experience my recovery because I'm going to meetings to be on the give rather than the get.
Yep.
And there's days when I come in and I go, listen, I'm on the take today. I'm on the get today.
Yeah.
And then there's days where I come in and I'm like, guess what, you guys? I'm going to go on the Grapevine podcast. And that's a gift. That's a gift right there.
It's time for the Ask It Basket.
What's that?
That's the name Bill W. gave the basket that was passed around for questions. We want your questions for our guests.
General recovery questions, newcomer questions, AA history.
Got a question for the Ask It Basket? Go to aagrapevine.org and click on podcast.
And now let's dip into the basket.
We received an email from Jack A. in Suffield, Connecticut, with a question for Ask It Basket. He writes,
While reading As Bill Sees It today with a sponsee, we discovered a couple of interesting differences between the quotes from the Big Book in As Bill Sees It and the actual Big Book. And we were wondering if anyone at GSO could explain the discrepancies. In As Bill Sees It, number 210, it says, take away my difficulties, that my transcendence over them may bear witness to those I would help of thy power, thy love, and thy way of life. In the Big Book, it says, take away my difficulties, that my victory over them may bear witness. In As Bill Sees It, number 213, it says, time after time, newcomers have tried to keep to themselves shoddy facts about their lives. In the Big Book, that quote says, certain facts about their lives. So the question is, how and why did these quotes get reworded in the printing of As Bill Sees It?
we asked the literature desk at GSO, and Raynor L. replied,
These sections were rewritten by Bill. They were not later edits, which occurred through our conference process. This is from the foreword to As Bill Sees It.
because the quotations used were lifted out of our original context, it has been necessary, in the interest of clarity, to edit and sometimes rewrite a number of them. Bill from April 1967.
Rayner continues, personally, I don't think this tells the whole story. I feel that the change from victory to transcendence reflects spiritual growth in Bill's outlook, as well as the diversity of wording used within AA literature. Experience shows that diverse expressions allow AA to effectively reach a diverse fellowship, in addition to creating an avenue for additional discovery and a growing understanding. It's ultimately hazardous to offer suppositions about the intentions of others. Certainly, there is a definite value within Bill's statement from the foreword. And we can clearly communicate that Bill authored these changes himself. As for the rest, that is the interpretive freedom which underlies the individual progress that AA offers. I hope that helps. Rayner L., Literature Assignment, General Service Office of AA. Rayner, thank you so much for that thoughtful response. We really do appreciate you helping us with these answers. Bill changed his mind on the word that he wanted to use.
Bill grew.
He grew.
Yeah.
Exactly. Just like men and women versus people.
Yeah. We grow. You know, one of the things that this brings up for me is the contentious approach that some people have around the plain language big book. That you'll see in our literature, Bill himself changing the way that he expresses things. And he says, why? In the interest of clarity, to make the literature more available and accessible to a greater number of people. And I welcome anything that helps more people understand this life-saving message that we have.
Exactly. Jack, thank you so much for writing in with those questions. You really helped spark a wonderful conversation and additional information from GSO. Thanks so much.
And Angela, thank you for being here with us. What a lovely, lovely time today.
Yes, Angela, thank you.
I'm an alcoholic. My name's Chris. And my sobriety date is September 11th, 1983. My home group is the Woodbridge Big Book Group in Woodbridge, New Jersey. We subscribe to the Grapevine in my home group. Whatever's left over, if anything is left over, goes to the jail box. Our Grapevine rep gives a Grapevine report and ends it with a joke every week. We're doing a Grapevine. We read from Our 12 Steps on Saturday morning, one of the newer Grapevine publications. I'm a Grapevine pusher. I am. I push the podcast. I listen to the podcast every Monday during my half-hour lunch hour. I tell everybody in my home group I want to be able to access the archives, read the magazine, get the full experience.
Thanks to everyone who subscribes to the Grapevine magazine in print or in the AA Grapevine app. Your support makes this podcast possible.
You're about to enter another dimension, a dimension not only of sight and sound, but of questionable choices and strong pulls. A journey into a land where the jukebox never stops, the bar tab disappears mysteriously, and last call is merely a suggestion. You've just crossed over into whiskey business.
Hey! Why are you looking at me funny?
I'm not looking at you funny. You're the one who looks funny.
Yeah? I'm gonna mop the floor with your face.
You'll be sorry.
Oh, yeah? Why?
Well, you won't be able to get into the corners very well.
It's really not that funny. Thanks for joining us. The AA Grapevine Half-Hour Variety Hour is posted every Monday and is produced by AA Grapevine, Inc. We don't speak for AA as a whole. We share the experience, strength, and hope of members to help others recover from alcoholism. All things Grapevine are available at aagrapevine.org, including our app and how to get in touch with us. Find us on Instagram and YouTube. If you want to know more about AA, visit aa.org or search online for Alcoholics Anonymous and your city.